ready.
And hello, welcome to the Limbus Company stream, book reading and ID study of today. I see Donatelli is already with us. Give me but a moment as Limbus Company is having a bit of an issue loading up. Unless I hit it away. Oh no, there we go, there is Limbus. Audio okay, my audio okay. Welcome to the stream. How are you all doing? Hello OG5K. Today, I have decided to punish myself, and we are going to be playing with not one, not two, but three double OIDs. The LCCB Assistant Manager Otis, Assistant Manager Ishmael, and Assistant Manager Rhodia. Two of them from the first season, and one of them from season 3, I believe? Yep, season 3. I saw your chat there, Donatelli. So, as well as today, we're going to be reading the rest of the book about Yiseng, specifically the Yiseng selected work. Now, I have set it up over here. As you can see, it's not gonna be like too much on the screen. We're gonna read it after we analyze our IDs, and also we're in the mirror dungeon proper. Just keep in mind that sometimes I will have to focus on the mirror dungeon because these are not the best IDs. So, yeah. I'm gonna have to pay attention to the combat every now and then. But for that said, I have my dinner here on my left. I want to eat it, but I will wait until it's a little colder. So there are three things cutting up my attention today. So let's get right into it. Right. Let me open my notepad here as we are going to need it. Let's begin analyzing the IDs and then we'll get to the book reading part. Shall we? First up is Rhodia. Done. Rhodia. God damn it. Go, Rhodia. Going there. Rhodia, standing at 193 HP, 3 to 7 speed, 56 defense level. While weak to pierce, she's resistant against blunt. For an ID that screams I am armored, I am tactical, that is a pretty low defense level. Once again, remembering yourself that defense level is essentially a character's armor. It reduces the damage they take based on the difference between the offense level of the attack hitting them. So 56 defense level is pretty low, especially because every offense level and defense level are increased based on the ID level. So a normal ID would have 60 defense level, level 60 with 60 offense level on the attacks. Let's see if she can make up for the defense level on her offense levels. She possesses the sin of pride, gluttony, and envy with a envy block. Let me write that down so we have a list of sins that we can use. Envy, there we go. Her passive, 3 envy resonance. She deals 10% more damage to enemies that use defense skills this turn. Not great, but yeah, you know, 3 envy resonance. We'll try to keep it in mind for Rhodia for the little extra damage, and she's going to need every extra damage. Deals more damage on defense. All right, her skill 1, it is a single coin 5/6, making it a level roller, which is baseline for skill 1s. It has 65 offense level, so here we can see that this unit is supposed to be a offensive clasher, because remember, the difference between offense levels on a clash dictates an extra clash power, and if she hits pretty hard. If the next skill of the dashboard does blunt damage, this skill coin power is +2. That is a incredibly unique way of powering up. I have never seen this before. And on head hit, it inflicts 3 paralysis, which is damn good. So, if next skill is blunt, coin power, +2, making this a 13 roller. Sadly, it does not escalate to the 15 roller as the newer IDs do, but this is pretty impressive already. Skill 2, Trust. It's a blunt skill with a 6/1/1. Ooh, that is not a good number. That is a 8 roller, and it gains 2 coin power if the next attack is a blunt. Again, a very unique way to gain power. 65 offense level, and it inflicts 4 defense power down. Interesting. This is pretty good for dealing with units from the middle because defense power down affects counters, but we're not going to have much use out of it if I'm going to be completely honest. In any case, this rolls a pathetic 8, and with the coin power, it becomes a 633, becoming a 12 roller, which is again incredibly weak. We're better off replacing this attack with a skill tree, which is what we're gonna see now. Suppress a 722. If the target took no damage from attack this turn, she gains +3 coin power. These are some very unique, very classic season 1 conditionals. So a 722 means this is a 11 roller again. But if the target took no damage from an attack this turn, she gains +3 coin power, making this a 17 roller, which is still pathetically weak, but it is a double OID, so we gotta cut her some slack. Coin power, if target took no damage. So she has to be the fastest one. On a head hit, it inflicts defense power down and defense level down, as well as a paralyze. Well, that is... the defense level is nice, but you know, as we have progressed down the dungeon, it's not gonna matter that much unless we have a way to bring it down. I guess it does make some difference, but the paralyze and the defense level downs are pretty good. It's just her skill 2 is rather atrocious. And finally, the defense is an 8-8 with a 58 defense level, higher than her base, with no special skill whatsoever. Pretty mediocre, pretty base. Yeah, this is technically supposed to be Sode and Effie, you know, the two man assistant from LCCB. Well, with that said, it's very unique. I wish this would get an uptie someday, upgrade, but no, I don't hold my breath. Let's move on to Ish. Now, this Ish is very popular. Why? She applies a lot of tremor. Standing at 251 HP, 2 to 6 speed, 63 defense level, weak to pierce but resistant against blunt. Rhodia is the same, so we're avoiding pierce attacks. She possesses the scene of Gluttony, Gloom, Pride with a Gluttony block. So let me mark that down. Glut, Gloom, and Pride. Let's take a look at her passive first. A for weakness. Attacks inflict +1 tremor in a 1 clash. This is... there has been better double OIDs with better resonance attacks than this. But hey, extra tremor, right? Skill 1, Shove. It is a 10 roller. It gains 4 aggro, so this unit can attract attention. If the target has 8+ tremor, this skill gains true power, making it a 12 roller, which, you know, reaches the baseline, but the target has to have 8 tremor, and on hit it inflicts 3 paralyzed, which is always good. We are going to win by debuffing the enemies. That's the way we're gonna fight here. Skill 2, and one of the most powerful tremor skills in the game. Wake Rounds, a 4-3-3-3 with a 59 offense level. She has a lower offense level in general, but a higher defense level. 4-3-3 is a 13 roller, which is lower than the average for skill 2s nowadays. On hit, it inflicts 1 attack power down, uses 2 bullets, inflicts 8 tremor and 2 tremor count. If she hits with all 3 coins of this attack, the enemy is going to have 1 attack power down, 16 tremor potency, and 4 tremor count from 1 attack. The more, like, if I'm running a tremor team, this is a godsend. As you know, tremor is quite potent. But the attack power down here is incredibly helpful, especially for a skill. It doesn't require ammo, so you just hit them with the first coin and you're good. And finally, the skill tree, a 4-2-2-2-2-2, making this a 12 roller with a 59 offense level, quite weak. If the target has 5+ tremor, which we apply ourselves, as you can see, it gains 1 coin power, becoming a 5-3-3-3-3. As a 5-3-3-3-3, this becomes a 16 roller, which is still incredibly low. On the first hit, it inflicts Tremor Burst and uses 3 ammo, inflicting 8 rupture and 4 rupture count. And finally, on hit, inflicts 5 fragile, but it does consume your ammo a lot. Now, this ID, if I recall correctly, does not have a lot of ammo. But it supports the Tremor and Rupture thing by there's 2 skills by applying a shit ton of Tremor and a shit ton of Rupture and Rupture count. So this is one of the older IDs that is still relevant to this day. You're gonna see her fielded by certain team just by the high amount of Rupture count and Rupture potency and Tremor count, Tremor potency, as well as that 5 fragile, which is 50% extra damage. So you see, this is a very good support ID. She is not a clasher. You're using this character, if she's faster of course, to set up for the next character to attack. It is a beautiful, beautiful skill. I love it. Doesn't clash very high, doesn't do a lot of damage, but whoever can do damage is going to do a lot of damage once they hit the same target. And finally, her defense is a 10-8 with a 65 defense level. It gains aggro, and at 0 ammo she gains more aggro. Very nice. Finally, we are gonna see Ryoshu, released on Kanto 5. Indeed, this ID doesn't, that ID doesn't look like much, but back in the day, and still today in some teams, you're gonna see her fielded around. Those 2 bullets, those 2 attacks are incredibly good. Not only can she apply attack power down and a lot of tremor, on the second skill she can tremor burst and inflict rupture, as well as the fragile, can't forget that. So let's check Ryoshu now. Ryoshu standing as 232 HP, 4 to 7 speed, 60 defense level, weak to pierce, weak to blunt, but resistance against pierce, unlike the other 2. Her passive, oh right, she possesses the sin of lust, gluttony, and pride. Lust, glut, pride, with a gluttony block. This thing has lots of gluttony, lots of pride, and pretty much it. Yep. Her passive for Ryoshu is ASB, a shotgun, shot blast, I don't know. To own the gluttony, always active, begins encounter with 7 ammo. If this unit has 7 poise at turn end, she heals SP. If this unit has max SP upon meeting that condition, gain 1 poise next turn. So, a basic poise ID. Nothing much, nothing crazy here to look at. Let's check out her skills. The first one is a 10 roller with 61 offense level. On use, she gains 2 poise count, and at 7 poise, she gains 1 coin power. And on a critical, the target loses 8 SP. It does not apply sinking, it does not require sinking. It just makes the target lose SP. It's interesting. It's an 11 roller at 7 plus poise, but it has this effect that I have seen very little times. Well, in any case, skill 2, a 455 with a 61 offense level, making this a 14 roller. Still lower than the average, but at 7 poise, she gains coin power plus 1, making this a 18 roller. Now that's a little bit better. No, wait. 6, 6, 12, that was 16 roller. So if we're at 7 poise, we have a normal clash power. It is a blunt, both attacks are blunt. On hit, it gains poise and it inflicts offense level down and on a critical. Now, remember, when we have a clash, we compare offense levels. Per 3 difference of offense level against one attack and the other, we gain 1 clash power. So on 2 crits for this attack, we are already decreasing the enemy clash power by 1. Skill 3, obliteration of the forehead. That I know. It is a 4-3-3-3, making this a 13 roller, pathetically weak. On use, she gains 4 poise, and on gains 1 coin power for every 7 poise on self to a maximum of 2. So at 14 poise, we are looking at a 19 roller. Honestly, one of the stranger IDs in the game on the last super jumpy IDs, I think, yeah. Well, I was thinking about making these skills for LCCB. Well, back in the day when Limbus was being released, they were still in the mindset of Library of Ruina. And so that mindset has persisted. Well, persisted during that time. Now it's entirely different. Earlier IDs were all about, you know, managing your debuffs on the enemy, and it wasn't about super crazy high numbers. But now it is, so who knows? I kind of prefer the old way, honestly. I just realized I don't have my filters on. There you go. Now I'm low quality as I deserve to be. In any case, moving on. On gain one power for every 7 points of self. On a critical, she gains poise. On a critical, she gains poise. And on the last hit, where she spends 1 ammo, double the application of tremor and rupture potency account on a critical. On hit, inflicts 4 tremor and 2 tremor count. On hit, inflicts 4 rupture and 2 rupture count. And on the hit, triggers tremor burst. If we crit with the final hit of this attack, she is going to be applying 8 tremor potency, 4 tremor count, 8 rupture potency, and 4 rupture count. However, unlike Ishmael, she needs to hit a critical, and it's only on the last hit of her skill tree. In any case, her guard skill is an 8/8 with a 63 defense level. Nothing crazy here. All right, now what have we learned? We have learned that Limbus Company Ishmael is incredibly potent and good for a rupture or a tremor team. We apply tremor, we apply rupture, we gain poise. So this is a strange little team. Let's build a team to support them. Just get Nebulizer and that's it, pretty much. All right, first and foremost, let's get Yiseng. Yiseng, how can you help us? We have tremor, we have rupture, and we gain poise. Yiseng, you little chud goblin. Let's see. Oh. The ally with the lowest max HP. Who would that be? 232, 251, and 193. Do you tremor burst? No, you don't. What a shame. I am thinking about taking Yiseng here with a classic ring point list for the sanity heal. I'm glad PM at least don't make ammo IDs, only spend it on skill 3, just made the other skills less interesting. So leaning away from that felt like a good idea. Yeah, that is a good idea to use the bullets more tactically. But still, the limitations of the bullets are there, and combat sometimes go for long. We could take Blade Lineage Sausu for additional poise acquisition, but I think like we need the sanity, so we're gonna take the sanity one. Oh. For Faust, how can Faust help with tremor, rupture, poise team? We could take the Heisho Pack Mal Wrench for that extra haste and offense level. We could take, let's see, Lobotomy Ego Regret. It's a 5-owned wrap. We don't generate wrap, but it is going to give us some clash power, which this team desperately needs. Ooh, it's gonna be difficult to build this thing, I can already tell. 7 Association is only for attacking the enemy weakness. The base Faust is about inflicting offense level down with a 25% chance, which is quite good, I guess. We do have enough gluttony to do resonance constantly, so we can take this one. Wuthering Heights Butler, no, can't help us. Yeah, let's take the Heisho Mouse to help us. Dawn, our lovely Dawn. Lovely Dawn has this here, which is pretty easy. Ally with the fastest speed on hit with a base attack skill against enemies with true rupture count or sinking count. Inflict defense level down, which make the enemy more fragile for damage, but we have also to consider the tremor part of our team. Now, Dawn has the T-Corp staff, which is less damage taken from people with tremor. I don't believe that's going to be an issue. N-Corp is about fanaticism. This is about... I do believe it is fast speed game final power of the first skill. It is a gloom resonance, and we generate gloom only from Rhodia, so no, we can't take this one, unfortunately. Oh boy. Lobotomy Eagle Lantern has some healing on aggro, which would help Ishmael. And we do have the Gluttony to generate it, but it only works on focus encounters. So I'd rather take the defense level down on hit. Yeah, and I do believe the base Dawn only gives us a pierce, extra pierce damage, so Chi Association is good for slash, and we are not on the slashing business today. We are on the blunt pierce business. Ishmael. Ishmael third skill has glow. Yep. Wait, what? Oh yeah, the second skill, yeah. Gloom, I was confusing with Rhodium. Yeah, I was confusing with Rhodium. Same thing. I thought my note here is a little messy. I'm gonna take Dawn to help us. Merso, how can you help a Tremor Rupture Poison? Well, the obvious answer will be Dead Rabbit's boss for that additional offense level down on a Gluttony Resonance. What else? We have Lobotomy Ego, which is... the Wrath Resonance, can't use it. Let's see. Dead Rabbit boss seems like a good idea. Rose Spanner Workshop, which is gonna be probably the next. But speed lowers clash power opponents with Tremor by 1. And it's on a 3 Gloom Resonance. We only get Gloom from Ishmael, so can't take that. Let's see. What do? You're charge support, right? You're charge support. I guess we're gonna take that Rabbit's boss here for the offense level down. We're gonna debuff max the enemies, I guess. Thumb East Capo. If I recall correctly, something about ammo. When an ally with a fast speed uses the skill that spends ammo, if their speed is faster than the target by 3 or more, deal speed difference times 3% more damage on a maximum of 15. The effect does not really lack the ammo buff entirely, however, if you activate the enemy, if they have ammo buff, even if they have a 0 round left. This is a 15% extra damage, only for the ally that is the fastest. We don't generate slop. We don't generate a lot of sloth, so maybe it's a little extra damage, but this one gives us better clash power and reduces the enemy power a little bit. The LCCB ideas I've used particularly often, but I do like the idea of their kit. Limbus doesn't really have enough supportive kind of kits for the idea. Yeah, Limbus doesn't have that because we don't have, aside from Lord Lu, we don't have the tactical option to tell a unit to retreat, you know? Imagine, if you will, imagine for a moment. Turn 1, we start the fight, right? The difficult boss. We put the LCCB IDs first, and then tell them to attack, but also give the order that once they're done attacking, once the round ends, they're gonna retreat back to the back of the line. So they enter the fight, they apply their debuffs, and then after they get hit or whatever, after the first turn ends, they fuck off to the back of the line, and then the real fighters step in, like pre-cook a turn or something like that. Anyway, let's continue. Hong Lu is a easy. We can buy it, but I like to try and make the team work on its own power, you know? Hong Lu might just be the Ting Tang gang leader again for the extra damage, which we are going to need, unless there is something here that is going to give us additional clash power, which we desperately need. So let's check a look around, let's go shopping. This one is on Lust Resonance. We only have Lust on Ryoshu. Inflict offense level down, plus 1 bleed count next turn on enemy with a fast speed. Yeah, I know Moises. I can take him, but I rather have offense level down than a 15% extra little damage, which is still based on speed different. Pick Corp, Exceeding Class. We have Gluttony from Rhodia and from Ryoshu. This would be a really banger healing if we are careful. But we are sacrificing damage for that. A lot of damage. We're gonna keep the damage. It's difficult, especially when we have Gregor that's gonna be providing us base healing without the risk of killing ourselves. Oh yes, he does support something for ammo. I barely consider him. I like that most ammo deals 10% more damage with skills that spend ammo. That's activated when out of ammo. It is how much damage? 10% more damage with skills. An ally with the most ammo. That would be Ish. And versus 20%. Yeah, it's really difficult to compete with Think Tank Gang Leader in terms of extra damage. I guess they learned their lesson. Anyway, Heathcliff. Heathcliff doesn't possess the full stop office. So, one ally with the least ammo gains true poise count when using a skill that consumes ammo. The said ally is a full stop office or they have less 5 ammo. So, one ally with the least ammo gains true poise count when using a skill that consumes ammo. This would benefit Ryoshu, and only Ryoshu. Ryoshu is the only one that we use poise here. We could get instead OP Association for the Clash Power, which we need. And we generate Pride, so we can generate this without a need for an Eagle Gift. Other options would be the Arcorp Pack Rabbit for Pierce damage, Piquad for Pierce damage. The stream I use this solo is coming up, so look forward to that, I guess. Let's hit by attack against 1 blood damage next arm. It's only for skills that do tremor. Let's see. Apply tremor potency or count. So the only one that doesn't benefit from that would be, I think, Rhodia. She does apply tremor, but only on her skill tree. So it's mostly this will be benefiting Ishmael and her on her skill tree. Let's see. There is Base Heathcliff. Base Heathcliff is a NV owned. It deals 10% more blunt damage, and we are all about that blunt damage, right? It's a choice. Yeah, we need Clash Power. They don't have the best numbers. You, boy, are going to probably wear the maracas, but we are going to consider what else you can give to us for support. So this is for ammo. This is for critical shielding. I have no idea what you do, actually. When an ally with a fast speed inflicts burn or rupture potency with their skills, inflict one more it's more rupture, more burn potency. This is for making our characters tankier, because it's faster and tankier. But it only affects the ally with the least amount of health. This one is for evading. We don't have evading. Deviant Association, he is about inflicting defense level down. So we could defense level down max here. The enemy rupture, inflict 1 defense level down. Or we could give him some survivability. If this is a thing about debuffs, let's focus on our debuff. We already have some extra damage here. This is for more rupture potency. This is for taking less damage. It's owned. And this is the classic deal more damage. That's it. Right. Moving on to Otis. Otis, I am tempted to take the G-Corp Head Manager this time around because of the random buffs. Attack, defense, and protection. T-Corp Otis provides us with more damage when attacking a staggered target. Not great. Haitial Pack provides us with more damage against a enemy, the fastest enemy, and the enemy has to have rupture. So it gives us haste and more damage, which is a gluttony resin. I'd rather have the random buff right now, honestly. Molar Office is about gaining self-tremor. 7 Association is about attacking the target that is weak or fatal too. I don't like that mechanic a lot. Wuthering Heights is about Clash Power to ally with the most SP when clashing against targets with less than 35 SP. And the target has to be low SP, and we're not exactly sinking masters here. We do have Ryoshu, that first skill removes sanity on a critical, but nothing to really write home about. We also have the Ujat here that gives us straight up protection for the ally with the lowest HP, but I'd rather have the random buff. Do you got the new Mersault ID? Not yet. I was planning on getting it together with the Rhodian ID this Thursday, so we can do a run with them. We get to analyze them together and see their backstories and all that. For Gregor, I am just considering taking the G-Corp Manager because, you know, it's good. It's good healing. It's good heals, brother. We do have the Twin Hook Pirates, which is when I have the most points, defeat an enemy, gain 1 pierce damage up next turn, once per turn. This would only benefit Ryoshu, so no cigar here. All right, all right, all right. I think that is our team. Let's try and get some ego running as well, because they're gonna need it. So we generate again pride, glutton. We're gonna get the ego generating, so let's take stuff that fortify our characters. So critical, you're all about rupture and tremor. So rupture, tremor, bygone days. You're gonna get very blue today. This is the one thing that is good for. I don't know, do you have a list of these already done and analysis done? Yes, I do keep track of them. And if I ever get confused about which ones I have or have not, I can just look at my channel and check which ones I have done. For Rhodia doesn't have good... It's all about debuff, so it prevents corrosion and in this one. Yeah. I haven't updated my personal list of the IDs I have done. Let me go check real quick here. So hold on, daily MD, there we go. I think I broke it. There we go. I did Dead Rabbits, which sucked. Blood Fiends, Pequod Trio, the 7 Association, the middle, which is gonna have a comeback soon. I don't know if you saw it, but Big Brother Heathcliff is Rio and he's coming. In any case, I did K-Corp Honglu, Full Stop, the 8th Association, Chef Ryoshu and Chef Gregor, the Zwei South, the Warp Janitors, the T-Corp, which I have to do a rerun, the Kurokumo, G-Corp Gregor and Otis, the LCB Researchers, which would be Hohen Gregor, LCB Faust, and LCB Yiseng. I did West Zwei, which is the Knights, Wuthering Heights, Edgar Family, the Liu Association, Dawn Claire, Blade Lineage, a Renpo team, achievement called Vampire Survivors, which is Fire Fist Gregor, Sync Association Merso, Zwei Association Sinclair, and I think that was it. I did the Multicrack team, R Corp, the She Association, N Corp, Capo Mersault, and Tom Sinclair. The Ring Corporist and Pointless, the Ring Corporist and Pointless, which is, you know, Honglu, Faust, Yiseng, and Otis. The Deviat, the Molar Bolt Works, and that's it. From the top of my head, from the list I'm looking at. So that's our team. Let's deploy. I can do another rerun. There's no problem for me doing reruns, but I like to do it when we have something, you know, of worth to add to the team. All right, so now that we have our team, let's deploy them. We are going to get the Starlight Guidance Shoe because we are going to need that Clash power-up in favor of the Nebulae. This is so that they keep up with the levels, and this is so that they can actually clash. The true classics here. Darting is mostly Rupture and Tremor based. We are going to opt in for Tremor to maximize the amount of debuffs on the enemy, since we are all about that debuff, you know? As our starting gift, we are going to take the Zippo Lighter, very important, the Phlebotomy Pack for basic healing, and I think that's pretty much it. We could take Kaleidoscope, which caps out at 4, so they can get some offense level. I don't mind using the Starlight, we'll get it back eventually. So we're taking the Kaleidoscope because since they're all from the same team, it makes sense that they get, you know, a little something. All right, now that we're done, you know, team building, analyzing the IDs and all that, we are going to begin reading. Now, I want to take a few bites of my dinner, my delicious dinner. So hold on just for a second as I scarf this all down. I should have chosen the other one. Anyway, let's begin. Like I said before, we are going to be reading the book of Yiseng's selected works. Yesterday, we saw The Winged. We read the story about the horrid little basement dweller that was the book Yiseng. Imagine if Ricardo Heathcliff did this story straight up just Cantos 5. I guess the middle accepted card is supposed to be seen in hit clicks from the middle. That'll be interesting. I guess we're gonna have to see the uptide when we get to it. Unfortunately, me pulling IDs is not a thing that's gonna happen. I am going to start it. Ow. It's probably not an original comment. Would you really rather look like a mad scientist? Thank you. That's kind of what I was going for. I love these glasses. This is not glasses I wanted to have. I have these one here. They are even smaller than my current ones. I wanted to have the little, very small eyes. Hold on, let me show you. I wanted to have these. They are smaller, but I couldn't, for the life of me, find anywhere that was selling them in this exact size. And so I had to settle for slightly larger ones, but I didn't make them prescription glasses so I can actually see. Well, thank you. Anyway, we're going to deploy into battle now. I am not going to be paying that much attention to the battle because we're going to be reading. I am going to be reading to you. And so I forgot to change the loading screen. Whatever. If my sinners do die, that's entirely my fault. So let's begin. First, let's deploy the first batch of orders. So if I recall correctly, she gains coin power if the next skill is blunt, so it's always going to be blunt. So, right. We yesterday read all about Yi Sang. We read the wings, the horrid little basement dweller Chudite that is the Yi Sang from the book. We read about the life of Yi Sang, this handsome fellow over here. How am I going to do this? If I cover the screen to the side here, I can't see the chat very well. If I lower the size of the screen without effect, yeah, that will affect the thing. This is going to be a little difficult. You were definitely pulling off the look. I can imagine running from horror stream. I do this a lot. If you've seen my streams before, you know that I do that a lot. Right. So the handsome fella we have here on the screen right now is the author, Yi Sang, the original, the real person. We read about his timeline, where he was born, and all of his, his trajectory until he unfortunately had perished from pneumonia. He died while in custody from the Japanese during that time. And so now we're going to be looking at some of his other works that isn't just the wings. So let me just give my order to my lovely sinners here. Right. First we have whatever the hell is this. I don't know Japanese or Korean, so we're just gonna have a nice look at it. I don't know how good it is on the screen right now. I try not to consume too much of the screen space here, otherwise it would be like one of those memes about Zoomers and Subway Surfers. Alright, this is apparently poem number 1. I have no idea what it says. This is, I've seen this one before, poem number 4 and number 5. Let me just give orders here. Shove. It is a mirrored thing. It's strange. It has this little thing here. I don't know what it is. If we define the wings here, we're going to skip them because we're already cracking up that the game Google looks like exactly similar to real Google. Yeah, speaking of Google. I love that image so much. Anyway. Let's see the poems. I hope they have translations. Poem number 1. Here we go. Crow's Eye View. The name of his eagle. 13 children sped toward the way. For the road, a blocked alley is appropriate. The first child says it's scary. The second child says it's scary. The third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the 8th, the 10th, and the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th say it's scary. Among the 13 children, there are scary children and scared children, and they are all they are. It is better that there is no other excuse. Did this change along the way? No. Of those, it is fine to say that one child is scary. Of those, it is fine to say that 2 children are scary. Of those, it is fine to say that 2 children were scared. Of those, it is fine to say that one child is scared. For the road, an open one is appropriate. It does not matter if 13 children do not speed towards the way. Incomprehensible. Thank you, Yi Sang. I'm playing Library of Ruina right now and I'm starting to love Your Floor. Your Floor is incredibly busted. Let me just give orders here. Bludgeon, fake rounds. Continuing on, incomprehensible. There are 13 children, they are scared and they are scary. Poem number 2. When my father dozes off beside me, I become my father, and I become my father's father. And even then, my father is my father, like my father. So why do I keep becoming my father's father's father's? Father, why must I jump over my father, and why at last must I live and play the roles of myself and my father, and my father's father, and my father's father, father, all the same time here? Also incomprehensible. I'm gonna be honest with all of you. I don't vibe too much with poetry. I think it's a strange form of art. If you do not know, I'm currently undertaking college for languages, and I had to read about poems for a little bit. And poems are a strange form of media, from my opinion, because it is a text where you write down your feelings, how you feel, your emotions, etc., without any concern for how the person that is receiving the message, that is reading the poem, is going to interpret it. So you just write whatever comes to your heart, to your mind, and fuck it if anyone's going to understand it. Fuck off. I don't want you. Fuck off, cotton plant.
준비는 끝났습니다. 명령 대기.
The Color Cliff ID is an example of Project Moon's fan service. It has been foretold for generations that we were going to get that. Anyway, let's continue on. So we're talking about my father's 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 father. I do believe that his father got sick. I don't remember every detail from his, trajectory as a poet. So let's keep going.
교전 시작합니다.
Poem number 3. The one who fights is thus the one who hasn't fought, and the one who fights has also been the one who doesn't fight. Therefore, if the one who fights wants to see a fight, then the one who hasn't fought seeing a fight, or the one who doesn't fight seeing a fight, or the one who hasn't fought seeing no fight, or the one who doesn't fight seeing no fight matters not. Once again, incomprehensible. Thank you, Yi-Sang. Let's try and analyze that a little bit further than just saying it's incomprehensible, because it kind of is. So, the one who fights is thus the one who hasn't fought. No. And the one who fights has also been the one who doesn't fight. Therefore, if the one who fights wants to see a fight, then the one who hasn't fought seeing a fight, or the one who doesn't fight seeing a fight, or the one who hasn't fought. I don't get it. I do believe this will probably make more sense in Korean rather than English, but in English it doesn't make much sense. Poem number 4. I've seen this one. Problem concerning the patient's space, and then we have a sequence of numbers with a line through them. Diagnosis 01 2610 1931. Diagnosis by primary doctor Yi-Sang. Interesting. I don't get it. No, wait, there's something here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0. And the dot kind of keep moving to the left, and it changes the order of things. I don't get it. Thank you, Yi-Sang. Point number 5. A single trace shows erasure of both left and right. Great wings, flightless. Great eyes, sightless. This is an old tale of a man collapsing before a short, fat god. Can burning organs be distinguished from a drowning cattle shed? And then we have whatever this is. Look, I am trying to understand, because again, poetry has this thing where it doesn't matter if the person is... doesn't matter how the person, in this case me, is going to understand. This is what he was feeling at the time when he wrote the poem. That's the point of poetry. You express your emotions, you express your inner self with no regard to how other people are going to take the message, So sometimes you have great stuff that you can resonate with, and sometimes you have this. I don't get it. Single trace shows erasure of both left and right. Great wings, flightless. Great eyes, sightless. That one I can sort of try to understand, like people with great potential can't achieve them, or with great sight cannot see. This is an old tale of a man collapsing before a short and fat god. That's supposed to be an analogy for, you know, someone in power and or whatever. Anyway, top time. Let's do a quick break. We are going to take the broken revolver because that's offense level down on enemies with rupture, and we do apply rupture, quite a lot of it. We are going to take the layered bandages since it's already here, unless we can enhance something. Let's enhance reverberation actually instead of taking that. There we go. Layered bandages would be nice if we encounter something with a lot of bleed, but this isn't the case. Flatbow broke Gambler's Pack doesn't have an interesting boss, so we're gonna keep reading Yiseng's strange-ass poems while we fight. Can burning organs be distinguished from a drowning cattle shed? That doesn't make absolutely no sense, so I'm not even gonna try.
교전 시작합니다.
Poem number 6. Birdie Parrot. True horses. True horses. Birdie Parrot is a mammal. How I know of true horses is how I do not know of true horses. Of course, I keep hoping. Birdie Parrot. True horses. Is this little girl Gentleman Yiseng's bride? That is so. Then I saw the Birdie Parrot turn livid. In my embarrassment, my face reddened. Birdie Parrot. True horses. True horses. Of course, I was banished. I didn't need to be banished. I dropped out on my own.
교전 시작합니다.
I dropped out on my own. My body lost its axis and became so frail, I quietly flowed my tears. There is there, you and I. Skendo is what? You, so it's you. It's you. You, no, it's you. I got all soaked and fled like a beast. Of course, there was no one who knows or who saw, but will that be so? Will even that be so? Thank you, you're saying you are. Let's move on to the next poem. How much points I need for this? There's 14, it's not ready yet. Poem number 7. There was a tree branch in the distant land of my banishment. How many status does she apply? Who you're talking to? The team here? This team is all about applying a lot of status ailments. Behold! About this much. About this much. How about a little more? Yeah, this is a little bit of tremor, a little bit of power down. Anyway, back to the poetry because, oh boy, this is gonna be a long read, I can already tell.
교전 시작합니다.
There was a tree branch in the distant land of my banishment. A flower blossomed on this branch. It was a curious-looking flower, blooming during the 4th full moon of the year. The world revolved and rotated 30 times. Two clean mirrors faced one another and circled each other as the world revolved and rotated 30 times. A full moon fell into the horizon, which was laughing together with budding leaves. Within a creek's powerful currents, the broken moon became utterly flustered after being sentenced to have its nose chopped off. A letter from home flowed into the distant land of my banishment. I barely caught it. The moon sprouted its faint light. The atmosphere covered up the idea of peace, made a distance from me in both time and space. I lived in the void for a year and 4 months in crushing poverty. A constellation limped and fell upside down in a dead-end alley, forcing a great blizzard to flee. Mud rain poured down. A rock of salt was dyed blood red, shattered. My brain was the lightning rod for the bleaching of my bones. I was buried in the field like a poisonous snake imprisoned in his tower. I will never move again till the mercy of daybreak arrive. Well, it's the same turn as Fradra's times, pretty much, yep. She applied Fragile right there, right now with a skill tree. So you have to set up the attack before someone actually attacks. That will be a waste. And you also have to count bullets, so it has very high status application, Ishmael, but once he runs out of bullets, gone. All gone. Right, we can see some parallels to the Wings here on this poem about living in like poverty and living alone. Sorry. We have Tremor, we have Rupture, and Ryoshu applies Poise. Save your bullet. Bludgeon, bludgeon, bludgeon. Anyway. So we see some comparisons here about, living alone, living in poverty. My brain was the lightning rod for the bleaching of my bones. I kind of see like how he overthinks and then that bleaches his bones, so to speak. Strange. It's more Tremor focused, I think. No, they both apply the same amount of, Tremor and Rupture. She applies 8 Tremor to Tremor count. She applies more Tremor than Rupture, because Rupture is free damage. This one has the same application and it doubles on the critical, and she doesn't apply anything. She just applies paralysis with everything. How is your poise? Not good enough. No, not shoot her. Shoot her. That's what I want to see. Shoot her. There we go. Just hit him with a shotgun. It's funny that Ryoshu only uses the bullet on the final coin. That's the only way she loses. Alright. Poem number 8. Anatomy. First experiment. Operation table. Silver mirror. Pressure. Operation table 1. Silver mirror 1. Pressure. 2 times the normal pressure. Temperature. Non-existent. I am reading the poems by Yiseng, the actual author. Let me just get what's in ears. Yeah. The actual Yiseng old meme. We read The Wings yesterday. These are his poems, so some level of jank is expected here because poems are a weird art form. Let's go over here first. 1 second. Ah, you! Slap. Slap the hand. Right. First, we begin our work on the front of the anesthetized patient subject and project the subject's entire three-dimensional figure, which has solidity, onto the mirror. We apply liquid silver to the mirror from our side of reality until the liquid silver permeates over or to the other side. Taking caution against radiation's penetration. We slowly pull the subject out of anesthesia. We provide the subject with pen and paper. The head researcher must avoid embracing the subject at all costs. We release the subject from the operating room according to procedure. A day passes. We pierce the axis of the mirror and cut the mirror off from our side of reality. We apply liquid silver a second time. ATC, we have not yet gained a satisfactory result. Hold on. Second experiment, horizontal mirror. 1. Assistance, many. We choose the open field truth. We attach the anesthetized extremities of the subject's upper body to the mirror surface. We clean the liquid silver off from the mirror surface. We pull back the mirror. We hypothesize at this point that the projected image of the upper body of the subject wishes to go through the mirror at all costs, taking even the extremities of the subject's upper body with him. We apply liquid silver again on the same side. At this point, we force out the void from the revolutions and rotations of the mirror until we requisition the second upper bodies completely. A day passes. We continue with this experiment. We continuously apply liquid silver to the same side of the mirror. The upper limbs are disposed or discarded, and so on. The silver mirror transformed, revolving and rotating again and again. ATC, all else are unknown. Huh. I guess we are seeing how he did the mirror here. The mirror idea. I guess, maybe? I don't know. Oh, mirror. Let's see here. What can we take from this? Because I did read the poem about the mirror, which was one of the inspirations of, the mirror we use in the Limbus company. They cautions against radiation, so they put subject pen. Is this if we're gonna take Limbus in consideration here, and I don't know how much of the material from Yiseng's book has been, properly adapted to the whole thing, to Limbus company, but is this essentially saying that the beings from the mirror want to go through the mirror? Slowly pull the subject out of anesthesia, pen and papers. We clearly look at the mirror. Subject wishes to go through the mirror at all costs, taking even the extremes of the subject's upper body with him. So this one is fascinating. We already had King Heathcliff coming into our reality, and it seems that the League of Nine, the new League of Nine at least, seems intent on doing exactly that for some reason, with the experiments they were doing with the the glass tubes. So does it imply that the identities want to come to our reality at all costs? There's also the fact that we used to have some more interactions with the IDs, with Dante specifically. The one I can specifically recall is Ishmael, Association Ishmael, because that one, she says that if Dante was around, her mission would have gone much better. They also have Rhodia saying like, hey, can you go to somewhere that is a little, has more colors, because I don't have color over here. So there is some degree of interaction of Dante versus the IDs. Concerning stuff to think about it.
교전 시작합니다.
Alright, let's move on. Point number 9, muzzle. How many of these are? The firestorm blows every day and a big hand reaches my waist at last. When the smell of my sweat soaks into the ecstatic valley of my fingertips. Shoot! I will shoot! I feel my digestive machinery, the heaviness of the barrel. In my mouth, the slick muzzle of a gun. I close my mouth to shoot, but instead of a bullet blast, what did I really spit? Here we have the poem that we use on the Team Killing Yiseng. Shoot, I will shoot. That was very clearly a poem about, suicide. But something happened here where... Let's keep going. Poem number 10, Butterfly. I see a dying butterfly on the torn wallpaper, a secret hole for connecting with the hereafter. I see the dying butterfly again, this time on the mirror's mustache. Its wings are drooping and it eats the dewdrops of my breath. If I die while I close this secret hole with my hand, the butterfly will rise again as if for a brief rest, then fly away. Words like these must never slip out no matter what. Now, this butterfly one is interesting because when Yiseng was in the original League of Nine, he pretty much said that... hold on. When he was in the original League of Nine, the initial creation of the mirror was from one of his friends, don't recall the name now, where he reflected a dead butterfly into a mirror world where the butterfly was in fact alive instead of dead. So this one is actually quite fascinating because we get the butterfly idea here. And one of his friends is literally a butterfly. Remember Tin, whatever his name was, during Ish Skanto, the guy with the fishbowl head? He kind of turned it into a butterfly. And I do believe that's the guy that created the original idea of the mirror. So, interesting. Now, everything that I'm saying here, could and should be taken as the ramblings of a schizophrenic, because we are trying to draw comparisons from a poem to a game. However, in this case it is not, because the game is heavily based on literary pieces of media, pieces of art. And so we looking at the poems here is giving us some, esoteric background context about how the characters were designed and created. And so hopefully we'll learn a little bit more about Yiseng, the Limbus character. She has 1 coin, so use it. Suppress doesn't matter, and bludgeon does more damage. Point number 11. The white porcelain cups looks very similar to my skull. When I hold the cup tightly, a strange arm suddenly sprouts from my arm like a tree, and the hand dangling on this new arm quickly picks up the porcelain cup and throws it down over my shoulder. But my arm is guarding the porcelain cup, which means that the shattering thing is in fact my skull. If my arms move just as the tree arm slithers back into it, the white paper that was holding back the flood will be torn asunder. But my arm is still guarding the porcelain cup. The hell did that mean? Did you suffer some head injury and you want to write about it, Yisang? Poem number 12. The stained cloth flies away and falls midair, a flock of white dove. It is an announcement for the war's end and the coming of peace on the other side of this palm-sized sky. A massive flock of doves washes dirt from their feathers. On this side of the sky, a foul war begins, and the white doves are beaten to death with clubs. When ash darkens the sky, the white doves will fly away once again to the other side of the palm-sized sky. I don't have a frame of reference here for date, but the way he writes this makes me believe this is the beginning of like the Manchuria War, I believe it was. I think he was already writing by the time of the Manchuria War. We have to go back to the book, to the beginning of the book to check the date, but let's keep going. I have plenty to read. It's already been an hour. Oh, this guy. Hold on, let me kill him. Hello, dumbass. Give me your stuff. Give me your sheet. Poem number 13. My arm is cut off while holding a razor. When I examine it, it is pale blue, terrified of something. I lose my remaining arm the same way, so I set up my two arms like candelabras to decorate my room. My arms, even though they are dead, seem terrified of me. I love such flimsy manners more than any flower pot. Incomprehensible. Thank you, Yisang. Poem number 14. On a grassy field in front of an old castle, I put down my hat. At the top of the castle, I tie a heavy stone to my memory and hold it as far as I can. History weeps as it retraces the parabola. I look down at the castle bottom. A beggar is standing still like a totem pole next to my hat. The beggar is, in fact, above me. I wonder if he might be the specter of multiple histories in their combined form. The depth of my hat cries out to the desperate sky. Abruptly, the beggar bends his shaking body and throws a stone into my hat. I have already fainted. I see a map showing my heart migrating into my skull. A cold hand touches my forehead. My forehead is branded with a cold hand's mark. It will not fade until some time. This again sounds like the poem of someone that went through a near-death experience and wanted to write about how it felt. Again, poems are weird. Poem number 15. This one is longer. I am in a room with no mirror. Of course, the me inside the mirror has gone out right now. I shudder in fear of him. Where did he go? What is he plotting to do with me? True, I sleep on a cold bed, damp from embracing my crime. I am absent in my explicit dream, and the military boot carrying a prosthetic leg dirtied my dream's white page. I sneak into a room with a mirror to free myself from the mirror, but the me inside the mirror always enters at the same time and puts on a gloomy face. He lets me know he is sorry. Just as I am locked up because of him, he is locked up, shuddering because of me. Phenomenal. Hold on, let me just beat this thing here. And suppress. Can't do anything about that. We don't have evades, so it is gonna be unopposed and hope for the best. Extra coin power. There we go. 23 is a nice number, but 14 is kind of weak. Oh yeah, one thing here about Rhodium. So you know how her skill 3 gains 7 coin power if the target took no damage? That the moment she hits with the first coin, that extra coin power goes away. Anyway, I am absent in my dream. In my mirror, my counterfeit does not make an entrance. He craves my loneliness despite my uselessness. I have finally made up my mind to recommend suicide to him. I point him toward the viewless window. It is a window for suicide, but he instructs me that if I do not kill myself, then he cannot kill himself either. The me inside the mirror is almost a phoenix. 5. After covering my breast above my heart with a bulletproof shield, I aim and shoot at my left breast in the mirror. The bullet goes straight through his left breast, but his heart is on the right side. A red ink is spilled from an imitation heart. In my dream, I am late. I am sentenced to death. I am not the ruler of my dream. It is a great crime to sew up two humans who cannot even shake hands. Again, we're once again talking about the goddamn mirror and how, like, it's just a reflection of yourself. But despite being a reflection of yourself, no matter what form the mirror takes, it is still you in there. So, taking into consideration the mirror that we use here in Limbus Company, and every sinner is still the sinner in the mirror world, just reflected differently. And the fact that if you take it like a character, they are also reflected. The details of each character is reflected. I think it's best visible with Rian and Rian Yisang. I'm not gonna load up the sprites right now because I have to dig them up, but every ID is literally mirrored. Like, for example, if you take N-Corp Faust and put her in front of Cromer, N-Corp Faust has like the shoulder pad on one shoulder and Cromer has it on the opposite shoulder because they are reflections. All right, this seems to be text proper now. No, there's two poems, but it's not the numbered poems. Let's take a look. We have 260 pages of poems to go, so we're probably not going to finish on this stream, but we're still going to do it anyway because I set my sights on doing that, and I think it's pretty fun. We get some meta schizophrenic knowledge on the characters. Flowering tree. On an open field, a flowering tree stands. With no other like it nearby, the flowering tree blossoms with a burning heart, as if thinking of another flowering tree burns its heart. The flowering tree cannot reach the tree flowering in its spot. I wildly fled for the sake of one flowering tree. I truly did such weird mimicry. Incomprehensible unless we're talking something that we already see on Limbus, which is the Donbei. Oh. I really want to eat my food, man. It's already cold. Should have eaten before the stream. Whatever. I'll eat it later. This kind of poetry. While digging around for construction, I found a big stone, and looking at it made me think it was shaped like something from before. I must have seen then workers carried it away, crashed it somewhere. I chased after. It was on the sidewalk of a very dangerous road. That night, because of heavy rain, the stone must have been washed clean. When I went there, the next day, oh how strange, no trace of it was left. What stone carried my stone away? Is this pathetic thought I composed? Beloved, I could live a lifetime and still never be able to forget you. I know you won't grant me my turn with your love, but I alone will think of it now and for always. So now and for always, I beg you to be beautiful. Because it was as though some stone was ceaselessly looking up into my face, this kind of poetry I just wanted to rip apart. Once again, incomprehensible. We can try to squeeze some sense out of this, maybe, but who knows. 903361. Oh, Nebulizer, remember how we wanted that? It's here. Let's move on to the next floor before we continue our reading. All right, we have Sun Shower. We do not have AoE or Sloth Absolute Resonance. We do want Lithograph for the healing. We do want to upgrade this for maximum power. UPS system always max it out for that free damage. If I can turn potency. We are a Rupture Tremor team, so we're gonna take our gift and use them. Alright, and this is pretty good. This is actually pretty damn good. This can stay, I guess, when envy if it's good if it's burn potency. We don't have envy, do we? No, we do. It's only on Rhodia. Yeah, only Rhodia's skill. Yeah, only Rhodia's skill tree has envy, so we cannot use this very well. So we're gonna sell it for Enhet. We're gonna take this one because it gives us offense level up, and this one because it's more damage on staggered enemies, and we do like damage. All right. Hopefully the next books we read are going to be a lot more comprehensible than this, because Iseng being a poet is going to be very subjective. Next up is going to be Faust. We're going to read Don Quixote. We're going to read Ryoshu's, and etc. etc. We're going to follow in the order of the sinners. Right, let's get back to the strange poetry. All right, 1933, 6-1. That person lived for 30 years on a scale. Certain scientists, that other person ultimately counted over 30,000 stars as expected. This person here lived for 70 years. No, actually, for 24 years, with no shame. Why do you keep changing stuff? Anyway,
교전 시작합니다.
I write an entry on this day in my autobiography, my autographed obituary. My body's flesh is now never at home, because it is proving too difficult for me to witness my body's poetry get confiscated. Maybe this was when he was arrested. I don't have it fresh on my mind, the timeline of Yi-Sang the poet. He was arrested. The League of Nine was also arrested, and shit, I don't remember the rest of it. He did a lot of stuff. Please consult my stream yesterday if you want to learn more about Yi-Sang timeline. And right now we're just reading the poem. All right, this one is just named Mirror. Inside the mirror is soundless. Perhaps no other word is so silent. Inside the mirror I still have ears. Through pitiful ears cannot understand my words. Inside the mirror I am a lefty who knows not how to take my handshake, a lefty who knows no handshakes. Because of the mirror I cannot touch the me inside the mirror. Because of the mirror I get to meet the me inside the mirror. Hold on. Let me just apply damage here. So here, 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 and here.
교전 시작합니다.
I do not have the mirror now, but the me inside the mirror is in it. I do not know, but he's probably obsessed with his lefty work. That me inside the mirror is the opposite of me, and yet looks quite like me. I am disappointed. I cannot agonize over and examine the me inside the mirror. I guess the lesson is that he was literally doing that on the Limbus, and then he learned not to do that because the me inside the mirror told him not to do that because, hey, buddy, I'm a reflection of you. Whatever I can do, you can do it too. And that, you know, shook him from his funk that he was in. Alright. Ooh, one attack is gonna go through. Hello, Acidic Trauma. We are reading Yi-Sang's weird ass poetry.
목표 일시 무력화.
Alright. Next poem. Common Anniversary. Before the battle sets the market street on fire, I am of course ignorant about Newtonian physics. I walk the street and I see the mountain of apples in the store. I become as small as the blood stain on my brain stem, flunking physics every day. The girl never trusts me because I never trust girls, and my words in fall emotion never affect the girl. The girl only stares at my words, but not a word from my mouth falls on her eyes. 1 second, gotta beat the hell out of this thing here. Ooh, big numbers. Big numbers. Accidentally slept for a bit, that's good. Nice to have a little nap sometimes.
교전 시작합니다.
Anyway. The girl only stares at my words, but not a word from my mouth falls on her eyes. Eventually the battle sets the market street on fire, and I forget about the girl for a long time because I have long discarded myself. I am filth. I let my dirty nails grow long. No, not much happens at the refuge during this futile January. I obsess on sewing my worn-out clothes turned inside out. On a green paper pine tree branch stands a lonely white paper crane. When the fire pit is as bright as the sun, it is as soft as the tropical spring, and in that corner I know all about memorializing the sphere's one full turn. What? Again, we have to try and find the meaning because he's not gonna give any. Again, poetry is weird. What does he mean by that? I have nary a clue.
교전 시작합니다.
Maybe something about war again. Maybe something about a girl he fancied but never would hear him. The fact that he wore like dirty clothes or whatever. All right, poem, whatever. Words for white flower. My face becomes a strip of skin before your face in moonlight. My words of praise for you are left unsaid, but like a sigh, they tickle open a sliding paper door and creep into your hair, smelling like camellia fields and transplant seedlings of my sorrow. You're saying you're not gonna riz up a girl or seduce her. I hate using modern slang, but it's already fully enrooted in my brain sin here. So you're not gonna raise her up by being an emo boy. That age is gone. Wandering in a muddy field, your high heels made holes. It rained and the holes filled with water, and your lies and jokes deepened my sorrow, which I had prepared as a cup of wine and a song for heaven, which was ruined by your steps. When the moonlight sits on the straw mat on my back, my blood shaped like pepper trickles out from my shadow, and my body's water, startled by moonlight, turns into dewdrops in my arteries. My raggedy heart swallows bricks, and you peer into it and call it a fishbowl. Use you? Ooh, melted eyeball and made to order. Hold on, let's get some gifts and proceed to the next level. Let's take this. Right. Ooh, Faith is here. Shit. That means we can use Eagle whenever we want. Hell yeah. Right, moving on, moving on. Glupo's over here, but I don't want to mess with Glupo. Take that. 1 second, we shall continue the tail weaving. We'll recommence in just but a moment. What do you think of the interesting poems so far? Again, hopefully we'll get through all of these quickly so we can get to, you know, real, not, I don't say it's not a real book, but something that makes proper sense. All right, my team is doing quite well. So, check this out. This is an attack that gives +3 coin power if the target took no damage from attacks this turn. The moment she wins the clash and hits him with the first coin, the second coin is back to a +2 coin. Check it out. So, +5, because right now the target hasn't been damaged, right? So 12, roll a 12, +5, all right? Hit the target. It becomes a +2. Same situation as Molar, Boltwork, Sinclair. This is one of the skills I need a little bit of a rework. Anyway, the original Korean title is Son Young Wije. This translates to title or words for So Young. This particular name is not mentioning any of these things, other right is literally Chinese characters. Same are So Young. The former character means the first origin, foundational, white letter can mean glory, honor, or flower. Okay. Decorum. Decorum. I, like an anchor sinking into an ocean, a small sword of my torso is destroyed. When the small sword is totally gone, I find a dead small sword, abandoned at the same location. Decorum. When the stern stranger and I sit next to each other... Hold on, do the attack, do your funny little dance, my sinners. When the stern stranger and I sit next to each other and stare at what is behind us, our spirits are confiscated from us. The final iron evidence of our ancestors' experiences forbids the stern stranger and me from having a relationship. In this calm darkness, I let out the final joke from my mind, and my expression is a secret. But the stern stranger, who I can never know, figures out my efforts and says he doesn't know anything. I am forced to worry even though we have been arranged. At the end of the earth, it is difficult to clear my mind and stop worrying. I do believe this is a joke about a fart. No, I want to believe otherwise, but it does sound like a joke about a fart. Someone notices farting and then, you know, I don't know, I didn't know anything. Didn't hear anything. The preserved skull has time to laugh, but it has no muscle. Who are you? You are outside, banging on my door, shouting, open the door! Even if I say you are not the heart looking for me, even if I say I don't know you, I still cannot let you stay inside. I try to open my door, and it is not just locked from the inside, but also from the outside. You don't know what? You don't know that, so what's the use of opening it only from the inside? Who are you? Why were you born in front of a closed door? What does that mean, Yiseng? Second, let's do the targeting here. Go. She's actually poise maxing. She can pump shell after shell now. Nice. Continuing on with our strange poetry. Decorum 5. A tall and happy tree gives birth to a short child. This anemophilous tree seed. What the hell is anemophilous? 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 Let me look it up. Hold on. Anemophily is wind pollination, the form of pollination whereby pollen is distributed by the wind. I see. This anemophilous tree seed is dropped along the railway track, but it is always ostracized. When it grows into a shrub, it is weak, covered only with its baby leaves. The leaves eventually fall, and a snake gets caught under them. The snake gets thinner and thinner and sweats while the mercury inside a glass thermometer shakes faintly nearby. I hear the sound of stakes being driven into the secret underground waterway. I will chalk this up as incomprehensible, thank you, Yiseng, and move on to the next poem as soon as I give my orders to my singers here. Again, poetry. Very weird art form.
교전 시작합니다.
Decorum 6. Because the clock cuckooed, I looked at it and a wooden cuckoo came out. The cuckoo sat on the edge, but it couldn't have cried. It does not seem like it can cry at all. Did the precious cuckoo fly away? Right. Next poem, please. Paper tombstone. I am tall, so my legs are long. My left leg hurts. My wife is short, so her legs are short. Her right leg hurts. With my right leg and her left leg, which are both healthy legs, we walk like one person. But our legs limp without support. All's well with the world that is a hospital. A nameless disease always awaits for its cure. Gonna sneeze. Oh, 3 level ups. On second, please. So, let's try to infer some meaning of paper tombstone here. So, I am big, my wife is small, our legs hurt, different legs, but we together walk, but limp without support. What does that mean? You mean like someone has a distinct advantage over the other and trying to make a relationship work? What do you mean by that, Yiseng? Oh no. This is bad, but we'll make do. This mermaid decrease our SP, I don't like them. Alright, moving on. Paper tombstone, again. My wife goes out to work every morning. Each day she deceives men. Even though the order she gets then might change, she says she does not receive more than 1 mail in a day. She says today is the day she will not return. I despair, but my wife casually returns with an expressionless, made-up face. When I ask my wife about her day, she tells me everything honestly. I quickly write into my wife's diary, which is definitely not part of my duty as her husband, what she could have lied about. My wife must be a kind of bird. Interesting. She gets so skinny, almost weightless, but she cannot fly because of the ring on her finger. In the evenings, my wife always powders herself, and I feel like I am being mocked through the wall between our rooms. She never pecks on the grains of rice with her pale blue beak, even though she is wasting away. Sometimes she opens the window and takes a look at the vast emptiness, but never twitters with her fine voice. My wife seems to have known how to fly and how to die at the very least, because she never leaves a footprint on Earth. Her secret feet always have socks on. They are never shown to anyone else, but one day my wife actually disappears. Finally, I can smell bird droppings. Okay, the wallpaper is filled with scars from flapping wings. While cleaning up the scattered feathers, I find the strangest thing in the world. It is a bullet. Ah, my wife is a bird. She swallowed it and sunk like an anchor. The bullet is rusty, it smells like hair and weighs 1,000 pounds. There is no nameplate for this room. The dog barks the other way. My wife has taken off her socks to mock me, and they look as hungry as I am. They are about to start walking. I seal the room and finally go out. At last, the dog looks back and mourns one last time. So I'm guessing this is some poem about how his wife, he had a wife and they had like their relationship did fell, and I guess this is how he felt about it, like she was being held back by him. Because I remember from the timeline of You Think Live, he had a wife, and his wife was... They opened a cafe together, a cafe, whatever, but it didn't go well, and the cafe had to go under.
교전 시작합니다.
So... Strange story. So I guess he felt guilty that he was holding her back because she was a bird, she's supposed to fly, you know, but the ring kept her held back. I don't know the part about the bullet, but who knows. Brazier. Bullet away, Ryoshu, you have all the poise. Brazier. The freeze touches and desires to enter the room. The room endures. Holding on to the brazier, I struggle together with the book I am reading and pull on the house's main pillar. The freeze pushes in, and the room's windows cave in like a tumor. The brazier fire goes out. Frozen inside what is barely a room, I lose my mind. Tides must be ebbing and flowing on a distant ocean. Suddenly my mother sprouts from the room's finely tiled floor, takes the brazier from my wound and carries it away into the kitchen. Outside there was a tumult, I think, but a tree grows out of me. I stretch out my arms and block the window. Laundry clubs drone on my back. I am covered in rags. My mother carries off to the breeze on her shoulders. It is a miracle. She brings back the brazier in her arms, warm like a cough medicine. It stands on my feverish body, my terrified book flees. I don't know. Maybe this was the time he was sick? Like, and that's how he felt? Who fucking knows, man. But again, poetry very strange. I am not a poet. Maybe I don't appreciate the fine art of writing down your feelings without any concern to how the people that are reading it are gonna take. But I don't, most of these, yeah, just me saying this is some sort of poetry in very wild terms, because how can we say we truly know anyone else other than ourselves, right? So these are the author's raw feelings, raw emotions, with no concern for how I am going to read, and I don't understand it. But in the same way, I never met the person, so how would I understand it? And if I did, would this make it any easier to understand? Maybe. Anyway, morning. The midnight air ruins my lung. Suit settles in. I make a fuss about my pain all night. Night comes and goes endlessly. Day breaks. When I can no longer remember what was happening, like a lamp inside my lungs, morning is turned on. I look around to see if anything has disappeared overnight. My habit has returned. I have ripped out many pages from my shamefully extravagant book. That early light carefully writes itself on my book's exhausted conclusion, as if the noseless night will never return. The noseless night? What the fuck he's saying? Family. Though I keep pulling, the gate does not open, because my family inside is very alive. Night fiercely scolds me. You have no idea how annoyed I am before the gate, where hangs a plaque with my name on it. I burn like a straw effigy in the night. My family is trapped inside the sealed door, but I cannot trade myself in. Frost comes down on our roof. The sharp needle-like tips on the roof are colored with moonlight. They tell me my family is suffering. One of them might be taking out a loan against the house. My family members are being pawned off one by one. I hang on to the gate's knobs like a drooling, drooping iron chain, because I am trying to open the unopenable gate, because I am trying. Maybe again, this sounds like someone that doesn't have a job or didn't. It's my interpretation of it. Someone like, I don't have a job or I can't find a job, and my family is suffering, and we're having financial problems, and things are getting worse and worse. And I'm trying to open, but the gate isn't open. Something we can relate to nowadays as well, I suppose. At least I hear my friends talking about trying to find jobs, at least in America, and find nothing. Anyway, fortune telling. The fortune teller pencil sketches the basic outline of my life on paper. How can it be so sparse? I surrender my money and my past to this outline and enter its meaningless chatter. However, there are only promised handshakes with strangers. Luckily, I get to cover myself with some of the paper's blank space, but it is not the right size for me. I still manage to find an empty spot and stay there quietly as long as I want. But then my stomach aches. I have swallowed up all the painful pronunciations. I beat up the wicked paper and seize it by its collar, but the fortune teller and the money vanish. My tired past sits alone with a blank look on its face. The fortune teller returns and digs up dirt where my past is sitting, saying there should not be a seat there. My bad fortune now leans away from me. I want to be avenged, but it's not a lost cause. The fortune teller sees me living out my life from where he is sitting, then quietly runs away. I'm drawing a blank here. Sounds like someone would have expectations about something, about his life, and then becomes angry that none of them come to be. I cough, spitting air into air with less strength each time. My story is this suffocating walk. My coughs are punctuating marks made by my shoes. Tedious air decays those marks. I walk for about a page, but before I can cross the railway, I sense someone has been tailing me. A dagger cuts me down. Wounded, I meld with the railway, forming a cross. I collapse, dropping my coughs. After loud laughter, a pungent ink is spilled over my taunting face. My dropped cough sits on my thoughts. They clamor, stifling. Just as a reminder that Yiseng started publishing these poems on a newspaper, and after like 20 poems, someone sent a message. Someone stops this madman, and then he wrote a letter just calling them out. Like, how can you say this? I'm trying my best here. 1 second, something's happening. I'm back. That was nothing. Right, let's upgrade our gifts here. So we don't do slash, so we can sell that one pretty easily now for no problem. We also don't inflict. Oh, what the hell? Huh? Error 75460. What the hell is that? Oh no. Are we gonna have to restart? Is the server down? What the hell happened? Oh no. Is this Yiseng poem curse? Is this what's happening right now? Oh, fuck off. Let me try rebooting the game. The game literally just said no. You're getting too lucky this run. Well, I get to eat my thing and we get to read more of the poems. Let's try connecting again. I think it's scheduled server maintenance. No, that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. The server maintenance happens on Wednesdays to Thursdays, right? Unless I didn't read again, like the fool that I am. Let me check, because I'm going to be very mad if that's the case. Hot fix, April 16th. No. yesterday. So on April, okay, server will enter scheduled maintenance from 10 a.m. through 12 p.m. on April 23rd KST. So it's not that. And the game is crashing right now. No issues after April 16th update. 4 to 16 update. Never made it for the. What the hell? All right, sorry. Give me a moment here. We'll get right back into the game. I don't think it's the scheduled maintenance. It shouldn't be. Is my internet connected all right? Everything seems to be working fine. And up, all right. I guess it was just a server error. All right. I guess the tail weaving recommences then. What was I looking here? I don't understand this one. Yeah, this one is incomprehensible. Right, back to the mirror dungeon, I suppose. I hope it didn't delete my progress. Well, I guess it was just a little hiccup. All right, we're back here, and we got our shit still. Good. Let's sell the gift that we're going to sell in the first place, which is this one, the employee card. We don't generate far enough charge to make use of this, so... Yeah, Moises, here in Brazil, and you are Brazilian, I know that, maintenance happens on the 20... at 10 o'clock every Wednesday. All right. Now, let's enhance sour liquid aroma. And this one. Let's see, anything else we can get here? We can get the portal battery socket, I guess. Get rid of a shove. No. No bundle. Refresh. Curriculum vitae. 7 chart count. This one's pretty good for us. You can upgrade it once. There we go. Let's continue our journey then. We're floor 3. It is 1:43 stream time. This stream is probably gonna take longer because I'm doing the reading and the playing at the same time. And again, these are not very powerful IDs, so they are not gonna clear this in any sort of record time. It had to be you, didn't it? It had to be you. You bastard. Right. Right. So that's what? Street outside street. This seems to be like a more of a story rather than a poem. And the next one is called Clear Mirror. Ooh, no, let's see. Street outside street. Clamor grinds my body to nothing. Everyone says I am a boy, but I have an old face. Like an abacus bead punished for leaping out of its line, I barely hang on to my bridge and look down on a tranquil world below. Again, we're trying to make poems. We're have to try and make sense of them. Children as old as me giggle, gang up, and attempt to cross my bridge. Already moonlight's weight is wobbling my bridge. Stranger shadows are huge at first, then grow fainter until they all collapse. Cherries ripen, seedlings fade into smoke. My investigation leads nowhere. Where is the applause I deserve? Perhaps this is a treason against my father? Silent. When I try to speak through my blocked pharynx, my speech sounds like a dialect. No, silence is clamor's dialect. I try to spill it all. My tongue's sharp edge probes my fresh bridge center. Every day I rot, and my rotting follows a path, and an alley miraculously open inside this path. My rotting flows in and comes upon a door of opulence. Hold on, we shall continue. Cue that prop. Inside the door are golden teeth. Surrounded by the golden teeth, a degenerate tongue dangled from diseased lungs. Oh, I can enter this alley, but I cannot escape its depth. Its depth begins to resemble my internal organs. A switched pair of shoes stagger over. Germs make my lower abdomen ache, watery. I ruminate because I am prone. A sleep-inducing benefit of a disbanded government comes into view on a mirror in front of me. It is a dream that tramples on vain labor. The centuries' fatigue and bloodthirst spread out like the grid of a Badook board. My voracious lips secretly pretend to dine above such maliciously crumpled mire. Sons, many sons, their heavy shoes kick over the crone's wedding. The soles are made of iron. When I climb down many stairs, wells become harder to find. I am a little late. Stale wind blows. School pupils' maps change colors daily. Far from home, the roofs of the houses have no choice but to shake. The colony is in its season of acne. People stagger and pour hot water on those who are sleep-talking. The thirst is unbearable. This ground was once the bottom of a primal lake. Salty. The pillars holding back the curtains become damp. Clouds do not come near me. My tonsils swell in the humorless air. There is a currency scandal. My hand, looking like a foot, shamelessly holds the crone's throbbing hand. A rumor goes around about the tyrant's infiltration. Babies constantly turn into little grave mounds. The grown-ups' shoes hit other grown-ups' shoes. I never want to see them again. But where can I escape to? In a state of emergency, quarantine neighbors mingle. The distant cannon blasts and the blisters of our skin soothes us. All I have here now is the stifling trash that came out of sweeping my vast room. Crows as big as suffocated doves once flew into my thunderbolt-infested rooms. The stronger crows tried to get out, but they caught the plague and fell one by one. The room was purified, ready to explode. However, everything I have put down here is just my recent trash. Little pause for Limbus. Right, we're here for Faith, we got Faith. We also get defense level down, defense level up. 4-4. I don't want to go fight Jesus right now because that would be horrid. But this team would be horrid, it would take far too long. We can go fight the gnomes, I believe. Right, let's continue the poem, right? So far, this poem does feel like someone that is living through a quarantine of sorts. I go. A train car carrying Sun Tzu avoids my room. A note written in shorthand is laid out on my desk. There is also a cheap dish, and on the dish is a boiled egg. My fork bursts the egg's yolk. A bird, a meadow, flies out. A wind from the bird's flapping wings tears up the grid. A flock of prophetic documents dances wildly on a field of ice. My blood wets a cigarette. The red light district burns through the night. Fake angels begin to breed, flying every direction, covering up the entire sky. However, everything I have put here in my room is heating up, clamoring all at once. The vast room rots from within. The wallpapers get itchy. The trash wildly sticks to my walls. This one sounds like a teenager. It kind of gives me the feeling of a teenager, like growing up, trying to understand life. And something like a quarantine or something akin to a quarantine, maybe a military. Because again, he was doing his poems during the occupation of Korea by Japan, so he probably was caught wrote this like during the time where, you know, they were doing their things. Hold on. You know, the thing that was doing the thing. God, that is good. I want to eat more. Anyway, it sounds like a poem of someone that is a teenager or is growing up during a time of dictatorship, either military or some sort of plague that you can't get out of your room. That's how I got. That's what I got from this. That's what I feel. I'm not like super doing analyzing poems. All right, clear mirror, calm water. I mean, no, just clear mirror.
나만 찰 줄 알았으면 빨리 좀 하지 그랬냐?
로자, 교전 시작.
Here is a mirror, one page of it. During a season now forgotten, my hair inside the mirror flowed down like a waterfall. My tears do not make the mirror wet, and the mirror does not bend even if I laugh at its face. I see my ear, tightly folded like a rose.
교전 시작합니다.
I look in and keep looking in. The mirror's quiet word is pure. No tepid fragrance reaches my nose. Even after so many caresses, our hearts remain parallel, and it feels like a rejection. Of course, my reflection's heart is on the right, but it still must have a pulse. So why am I turned down? I reach with my fingers. A fingerprint blocks a fingerprint and cuts me down. During the month of May, I desire many times to be on the road. Had I gone, I may have never returned. If the mirror is like a page of a book, I will meet the season I once faced. But the page remains there, and the mirror is its bookmark. Oh, this gift again, alright. Now let me pick up the gift and go to the next battle. So I'm not talking much about the IDs again. The ID study starts at the beginning of the screen. This is the reading part, but I already am applying the strategies of each ID here as I play it. You can see on the last turn I used a block just so we could get the extra point power from this, because that's the only thing it does really. Not a lot to keep track here. Anyway, Ben, critical conditions. I volunteer my strong dog for medical experiment. Injected with vitamin E, the dog tests poorly. The doctors beat my dog because they're jealous of its biological superiority. Once I longed to bark my heart out. Not anymore. In the medical school's empty courtyard, I stand tall and suffer being banned from the school. An abused skull appears on a thesis, but this word will never name it. Incomprehensible, thank you. No, not that incomprehensible. I believe he's trying to say something like, I don't know, I'm too smart for this word or something like that. Or who knows. I'm not trying to be cynical here. Pursue. I shut all the windows and doors, so nothing that makes my wife happy enters. Every day and night, my dreams attack and petrify me. In darkness, I catch the tail end of a certain smell and pursue its traces through my house, which leads me to places I have never been. When my wife comes back from her excursions, she washes her face before entering our bedroom. She takes off many faces she resembles. I finally find her potent soap and hide it behind my back. Later, I tell her about my recent dreams. Once again, incomprehensible. Thank you, Yisang.
교전 시작합니다.
Drowning. Suicidal, my mind looks for a razor. The razor's blade is folded inside its grip and won't come out. Impatient, I roar at my razor and edge toward the cliff, desperate for a blade. I force the folded razor into it myself and suppress my pain, when suddenly its blade opens and grazes me. I bleed internally. However, I have nothing to cut my flesh open. There is no way for my evil spirit to escape. My body gets heavier because of my imprisoned suicide. Ooh, that one's a little. That one's tough. That one's pretty tough. No, you will not. You will appear on stream now, but you will not eat my food. Behold, a cat. Get closer to the camera, Kitty. She wants to get my food. Love you, Kitty. Go away. That one was a little tough because, you know, suicide and all that is a very heavy subject, one that I may have some experience on it, but I will not elaborate on it any further, and I already have. So let's keep going. Cliff. I cannot see the flower. The flower is fragrant. The fragrance is in full bloom. I dig a grave in it, but I cannot see the grave either. I enter the grave. I cannot see and sit there. I lie down. I can smell the flower again. I still cannot see the flower. The fragrance is in full bloom. I forget about it and dig a grave. I still cannot see the grave. I forget about the flower and go into the grave I cannot see. I can smell the flower again. This flower I cannot see. This flower I cannot see. Maybe this one is the inspiration behind Dombe's Awakened Ego. Where she must cover with dirt the fragrant flower or whatever. Not a good poet. White painting. When I show the badge of virtue on my overcoat's lapel, I am allowed in. As the woman lets me in, she tells me she's also virtuous herself. She asks, so how about it? She wants to know how much I am worth in this world. I wag a crimson rag at this so-called chaste virtue of hers, and she gets mad. She begins to sweat like a turkey. What? Lineage. Man, how many of these poems are there? Hold on, let me do a quick survey here. Paradise Lost. Not the book. There is. This is more poems. Got it. The Japanese poems of Easthang. Oh, there's more. It's literally just 260 pages of poems. Yeah, that's a lot. I did say I was gonna do this, didn't I? Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. I don't know if that's interesting, honestly. It's poems are strange. I guess we're trying to understand how Yi-Sang the author is to try and reflect on the character of from the funny Limbus game. Let me eat something first.
저것들이 아까부터
두드려 패고 터뜨려 주지.
그러지. 그것은 듣자게 갖다 써야지. 별로 어려울 것도 없잖아.
확인 사살.
Now I feel refreshed.
왜 늦자고 없이 쪼개고 있을까?
And now I have hiccups. God damn it. This is punishment. This is punished from beyond the grave by Yi-Sang. This is my punishment from beyond the grave by Yi-Sang for me telling about his poems are incomprehensible. Motherfucker. See you later, Moises. Thank you for being on the street. Oh. God damn it.
교전 시작합니다.
All right. Lineage. Even the buried white skull of my ancestor demands a full refund for his blood. Moon brightens everything under heaven. Shuddering in fear, there is nowhere under the sky I can hide. I want to tell the skull respectfully. Has it never occurred to you that your legal seal has long become void? I still carry in my body the symbiosis of our hateful transaction. Like a legal seal, I cannot drain it out of me. Again, poem about family, I guess. Family responsibilities. Location. At a location of significance, a sudden character induces a tragedy. But there is no stranger nearby? Shaped like a question mark. A tree of alien language planted in a pot wants to turn around and leave this place. Well, a chair acts deaf and refuses to move. I shove myself in between the tree and the chair like punctuation. So how can I make myself look responsible? As this tragedy gets noted, I prepare my tear. No, I can't stand it anymore. I put on a hat and go out. But there is a stranger staying behind me, sitting on the chair, and he forgets to send my other self out. Buying spring. Man, I'm gonna be honest, I am... Cats are doing. I'm not feeling the poem reading too much here. But I guess I'm gonna continue. Let's not say I'm a quitter. I need to eat. All right, buying sprint.
옛날에 외부 강사로 뛰던 것이 생각나네. 한 놈만 잡아주자겠다.
교전 시작합니다.
My organ of memories begin to rot like a fish under the blazing sun. The following siphon effects happened to me. I can't make up my mind if I want 3 bananas at dawn and 4 at night, or vice versa. My mind is spent. This exhaustion will be my fall, but I should not try to fight it. I should overcome it. An out-of-body experience. Shoeless feet shed their leg in the vacant heaven. Incomprehensible, thank you. Lifetime.
외부 강사로 뛰던 것이 생각나네.
교전 시작합니다.
My bride's gloves sink down and turn into pebbles over my aching head. My aching head does not have enough strength to move out of the way of those cold, heavy stones. Still, I manage and make myself look regal like a queen bee. Caught beneath the stones, I will hate her as long as I live, though I cannot forget about my hand's dark abuses against her, and the red ants busily eroding away her life. Therefore, my bride faints every day or perishes again and again like the beast. My aching head will never be able to move out of the way of her falling stones. Again, sounds like he had a very healthy relationship with his wife. Very healthy, as you can see. They're just so good for each other, the way he writes these poems about his wife crushing his head. Alright, gifts, gift. Barbed lasso, clips of scarlet moth. Keep going. You know what? After today, I'm gonna start reading Faust's book because these poems are a little annoying, and we still have like the Japanese ones. Innards. My mouth is salty. My blood-soaked calligraphy brush must have been rushed into my veins. Once I took off my crumpled skin in repentance, but now it returns to me as blank paper, and a clot of blood has formed on its surface where the brush passed over. The torrential path of the brush is an indistinguishable combination of all my stinereses. Salutations fuel my closed mouth, and they are dark. An impotent thought tries to force my mouth open and fails. No testimony can be made at my trial. My past drowned and came apart in love. Its shape destroyed and became a crime. I faint in my body forever. Sounds like, again, something, he tried to do something and then the powers that be crushed him, which is, again, he was living in Korea that was occupied by Japan, so, and his group did get disbanded, so who knows. Blood relation. The shabby man looks like Christ. His hardened heart makes me responsible for his death and his fate. Every hour, every minute, every second he finds fault in me with his outdated ideas and threatens me. In the form of devoted filial love, I function precisely according to custom, but remain constantly terrified. I am worried that if I do not assassinate this lumbering pretender Christ, then my lineage and my conspiracy will be plundered. I am running away to start fresh, but I cannot get rid of the stickiness in my inner ear. This sounds like he is having problems with his family, his father, or his parents, or whatever, and he wants to run away. That's my guess out of it. Self-portrait. This one is important, I think. This is some country's death mask, rumored to be stolen. Its grassy facial hair fails to reach twirling adulthood in the far north. A mustache despairing and refusing to Germany. The ancient azure sky fell into the troughs of the death mask. Now the final testament silently sinks into those traps like a stone monument. And then foreign hands and feet parade past the death mask. The death mask is ashamed, having done nothing. The dignified meaning is crumpled. I guess I was wrong. Alright, last one for the Koreans. Korean poems, I think. I wed a toy bride. Oh, again, family stuff, huh? Night 1. Sometimes my toy bride's skin smells milky. She may be expecting a baby. I blow out the candle and into her ear I chide. You are just like an infant. My toy bride gets angry. Though it's dark, she answers. I went for a walk to the dairy farm. Did my toy bride memorize the landscape during the day? She is warm like the notepad by my breath. I keep getting skinnier, sniffing nothing but milk powder. Night 2. When I give my toy bride a needle, she pokes everything with it. My daily calendar, my book of poems, my watch, my body, which is supposedly the residence of my memories. A thorn is growing inside my toy bride's mind, just like on a rose. A blood spills from my light armor. To repair my wound, I eat a tangerine in darkness. With nothing but a ring on her body, my toy bride looks for me. She draws the darkness up like a curtain. And she finds me right away. I mistake her ring for a needle. It hurts. My toy bride lights the candle and looks for my tangerine. I ignore the pain and pretend not to care. Once again, almost incomprehensible. I don't think he's saying he had a good relationship with his wife or his family. Anyway. This one is Girl from Paradise Lost, I believe. Paragraphs of Blood Relations, Paradise Lost. There is so many poems, man. Let's keep going. We're already in this far, and I'm gonna keep going. I said I was gonna read these things. I'm gonna read it, despite not wanting to, because it's poetry, and I'm not a big fan of it. All right, let's read Girl. But I'll give my orders here. Girl. The girl is clearly a photograph. She always remains still. When her stomach aches, someone is playing tricks on her with a pencil. The pencil is poisonous. As if she swallowed a bullet, the girl turns pale. When she vomits blood, a wounded butterfly is perching on her. She is a tree branch stretching out like a spider's web, tremulous under the butterfly's weight. The branch eventually breaks. She stands in the middle of a small boat, away from the mob and butterflies. The frozen water pressure, the frosted glass panels pressure takes away everything except the image of the girl. And many pointless readings begin, just like this one. Beside a closed book, or in some crevice of a library bookshelf, the girl hides, as emaciated as paper. The girl's smell lingers in my metal printing types. A smudge from the girl's soldering iron stays on my book's cover. No sharp fragrance will lead me astray from recognizing. People wag their fingers at me. The girl must be your wife. I don't want to hear it. It's a lie. Really, no man has ever seen the girl. But she must become a wife to someone, anyone, because the girl has given birth to something inside my womb. I have not yet excreted it. If I do not pull this disquieting knowledge out of myself, it will, like a coal, blackening my body from within, it will corrode me. What the fuck are you saying? Alright, let's focus on the game for but a moment here. We're going to floor 5 now. We are going to be taking today's expression, and we are going to take the painkillers. A lot of offense levels for these characters, but it will be fine. I don't want to fight any of these two. They really want me to fight Jesus, don't they? Fine. Just put the ego gift in the bag, bro. Yeah. All right, let's go fight Jesus. Gambling time. Ah, oh man.
운이 따라주지 않네요.
Also, welcome that guy pro. How are you doing? I think this is your first time here on the channel. Welcome. If you caught me right now, I am reading the poems from Yiseng, the actual author. And it's interesting to say the least. Very interesting, as a not really interesting. There we go, got the gift. We are going to be taking none of these because these all can't help us. Smoking gunpowder does help us, and so does metronome. Yeah, we'll take the metronome. We'll take the smoking gunpowder. And we enhance something here. Let's see. The metronome would actually give us offense level. sell the card we just got because we don't use this. We don't need this. Let's see what else. Enhance the metronome again because it will give us a defense level up, which adds more damage. Rupture, 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 more rupture, rupture aplenty. Let's deploy, let's fight the final boss so I can eat. I haven't eaten yet. I've been reading poems from the Korean guy. Right, let's continue. It will corrode me. I cremate the girl, letting it all go. Whatever papers burn near my nostrils, the smell stays on forever and refuses to dissipate.
으쌰. 대가리에 총 맞았냐?
Here we go.
그래, 내
Hit the pine post, hit the quake rounds. Yeah.
두드려 패고 터뜨려주지.
I'm gonna try to maximize our combat efficiency here, but I still gotta read the goddamn poem, so. Paragraphs on blood relations. Once again, another poem about family. Seems to be a recurring theme with the Korean and families, huh? This raggedy man is almost a Christ. However, totally ignorant, he cannot speak as clearly. It is the 51st Ancestor Worship Day. I must assassinate this imitation of Christ. If I do not, all the signs foretell I will have my life confiscated. The limping woman always approaches me. Though she refuses to look at me, she demands I pay her back for my muscles, my bones, and my nearly depleted blood for the original prices. However, I don't think I have enough money. I write fiction that barely makes any. On the contrary, I want to demand compensation in medals for what I got from her. However, how can she be so cruel? I have to run away from this hideous woman. He's talking about his mother. Do ego time, ego time. Right. Who has all the tremor in the world? Is it the sign or is it the flesh? It is the sign. The flesh has a lot of rupture. The LCCB team is pretty good. Yeah, they have a lot of rupture application. So let's apply more. We want to go for the flesh for rupture, and we are gonna go for tremor on the signpost. I think the eagle we're gonna use are gonna kill the flowers. If they don't kill the flowers, well, we'll deal with that later. Alright, let's see. Right. How can she be so cruel? I have to run away from this hideous woman. Only on ivory stick, only one balloon. From his grave, my ancestor's white skull gives me an ultimatum. He does not dare to even dream that his seal lost its power long ago. For his ultimatum, I will give up my brain functions. All the cells in a human body are replaced after 7 years. Therefore, I will eat alone and never contact my blood relations in 7 years. I might be able to create a new bloodline. The bloodline will not exist for anyone, not even for myself. Or should I stop thinking like this? Or must I give back it all back must I give back all of myself? No, I don't need to vomit mud for 7 years like a goldfish. No, like a catfish. Once again, this is just Yiseng saying I have a very healthy relationship with my mother and my father, and there is nothing wrong with me. Why is this a recurring theme with the Korea, man? Is things that bad down there? Who knows? Who cares? If it's paralyzed, go hit the signpost. There we go. Suppress. Add more rupture to that boy.
확인 사살.
Alright, flowers are gone. Continuing the tale weaving. Paradise Lost, not the actual book. Angels are nowhere to be seen. Paradise is an empty lot. Occasionally, I meet two to three angels. One by one, they all give me a kiss, but then they suddenly die on the spot. Just like bees. Yeah, give me more pride damage, thank you. And quick rounds go into the signpost. Nerf Gus here. Let Ryo to handle that.
로자, 교전 시작.
There is a rumor of a war fought between angels. I intend to tell Mr. B that I'm going to dispose of an angel's corpse in my possession. People will laugh. In fact, someone like Mr. S will laugh hysterically. This is because Mr. S has faithfully preserved a precious 5-foot-tall angel's corpse for a decade. Is there a cheerful flag to signal the angels to return? I do not know why angels love hell so much. Perhaps the angels have figured out hell's appeal. You can taste the poison in every shade of an angel's kiss. Once you are kissed, you fall ill, then perish. Okay. Oh, looking glass. This one is important for Limbus, I believe. Signpost, flesh. Do you still have ammo? Yes, you do. But it's all going away now. And there's a problem with LCB-ish, and this is what I meant. Like, we should have an ability to tell units to fuck off to the back of the line. Because now she's out of ammo, and so she can no longer apply rupture or tremor. Sure, she applied 1 billion of it, but now she can't do anything. Guys, we're gonna have to use all the ammo on Ryoshus now. A crazy amount of defense level down we're applying, man. That's pretty damn good. There we go. This one saves for later. Here we go.
교전 시작합니다.
Looking glass. An iron nib pen dangling on a spindle, an ink bottle, and a letter. There is enough of each for one person. Nothing else. I am beginning to realize that it might be an unreadable text. His remaining body odor is trapped on the other side of the uncaring looking glass, making it impossible to investigate this tragic last scholar. He is in the still life of pen and ink and letter, as lonesome as Tutankhamun's tomb. No sign of happiness. 5 flesh. How about burn through your thing? How much? Yeah, you're good to use. Max attack is 999 and we are at 666. Really? That's cursed as hell. Anyway, off we go. Go to the flesh, apply more. Signpost. Actually, go here and here. There we go. That's for the extra little 3 damage from that. The big attack comes out. If we can have the scholar's blood in his final blood cell, if his final blood cell still remains, then his life might be preserved. Do we have his blood? Have you seen his blood stains? There is no signature at the end of his esoteric opus. If he is who he is supposed to be, then he will come back. Or he may actually be dead. He may have died being the final soldier, his honor undisputed, with all the glory. Tedious. Will he definitely return? Will he play tricks with his bony, fugitive fingers and move the still life of pen and ink and letter? Even if he does, he will never be joyful. He will not babble. He will remain cold towards his ink as he turns it into literature. But for now, he must be endlessly precise. The still life refuses pleasure. Alright, and more pride damage, thank you. Give me more pride damage. I want more pride damage. Because that's our main source of damage right now. How is it looking? Flash still has plenty. Alright. 6 hit. Put my power down. Let's try not to consume our rupture stacks here and try to be more careful of that. Anyway. The still life must be tired. The glass is pale. The still life reveals even his bones. The clock needles move leftward. What their meters calculate? The scholar, who is supposed to be himself, is probably weary. The calorie intake is reduced. Organs have expiration dates. Almost. It is a savage still life. Why won't this unbending poet return to us? Was he really killed in battle? There's a still life in the middle of a still life. The still life cuts away at a still life in the middle of a still life. Is this not cruel? The fingerprints on the mirror glass lay siege to the clock's needles. They must be revived to air out the tragic scholar's warning. The fingerprints on the mirror's glass lay siege to the clock's needles. They must be revived to air out the tragic scholar's warnings. Welcome back, Don Scatelli. You haven't missed much. Mostly more poem reading. That's a very interesting thing to write there, you know? Sorry, stop being annoying. But hey, literally, the fingerprints on the mirror's glass lay siege to the clock's needles. They must be revived to air out the tragic scholar's warning. The tragic scholar could be Virgilius. Virgilius has a tragic story. So I am going to save this into... I'm gonna save this particular quote because it seems very crucial for Project Moon stuff. Wouldn't you agree? The fingerprints on the mirror's glass. We have the ring that is doing experiments with the mirror. The clock's needles is, you know, Dante, obviously. I do wonder. What did they mean by this, huh? What did they mean by this? Never mind. Let's keep going. Do we have anything that applies more rupture count? Whatever. We're about to win this fight anyway, so let's just finish it off. The Flash has 2 stacks of rupture, so let's leave it at that for now. Attack the signpost. Anyway, fingertips on the mirror glass lay siege. Moon wound. The mustached man takes out a watch. I also take out my watch. He says I am late. I say I am late. The moon rises one day and a night late, dressed like a bleeding heart. Totally broken, the moon may be hemophilia. The earth reeks, choking my nose with sorrow. I walk in the opposite direction of the moon. I worry, how can the moon be so miserable? Moon? I think of what happened yesterday, the darkness, and what will happen tomorrow, the darkness. If I attack the Flash, we'll probably kill it. Yeah, focus fire on the Flash, kill it. Finish off this mirror dungeon. And finish off the poem reading for now. For my mind is turning into mush. I think of what happened yesterday, the darkness, and what will happen tomorrow, the darkness. The moon lags behind, refusing to march. My barely visible shadow wobbles up and down. The moon can hardly bear its own weight, foreshadowing the menacing gloom of tomorrow. Now I must find some other word. You could see the eagle you just used on Rhodia. Yeah, I used the thing for tremor to target the tremor. Now, hold on.
작전 목표로 보이는 변동 좌표를 확보. 이걸 가지고 복귀한다.
The moon lags behind, refusing to march. My barely visible shadow wobbles up and down. The moon can hardly bear its own weight, foreshadowing the menacing gloom of tomorrow. Now I must find some other word. I must fight against the words of the heavens, which are like the coldest winter. I must stay frozen between the iceberg and the snowy mountain. I must forget everything about the moon to discover a new moon. Soon I shall hear a deafening noise. The moon will fall. The earth will bleed profusely. People will tremble. They will swim in the moon's evil blood and freeze. Is this strange ghostliness infiltrating my bone marrow? Perhaps only I will be able to sense it, the final tragedy of the earth, which even the sun has abandoned. I finally chase down my galloping shadow and get in front of it. Now my shadow chases me as if it's my tail. The moon is in front of me, new like a flame, or perhaps like a rapturous flood. And that's the last poem in the Korean. We're gonna entering the Japanese ones tomorrow, because this is a lot. I am worried about the moon poem that we just read about the catastrophe happening and even the sun abandoning. As we know, Carmen is the sun, but I don't think it has any relations. I hope. In any case, LCCB team, assistant manager Ryoshu, Ishmael, and Rodion. What a strange little team. They have managed to get through the mirror dungeon without any problems. Just the three of them, despite their low numbers, but I did take a double Grace of the Stars for Clash Power, so maybe that's what kept them up. The amount of debuff these three can inflict are insanely good. Insanely good. So, with that said, let's finish off the dungeon here. That was a very interesting way to play them. I really like the amount of debuff they have. It's clearly something from before, still Ruina coded way of thinking about IDs. I wish this would return because I found it much more satisfying to juggle debuff rather than have big number be hit harder. But with that said, we are done for today's stream, my friends. We read quite a bit of Yiseng's weird-ass poetry, and we could see that he did not had a good relationship with his family and with his wife. He did, you know, he had a second wife later, but yeah. With that said, if you enjoyed the stream, please recommend it to your friend. And if you did not, please recommend it to your enemies. And if you really like the stream, please consider leaving a like, a comment, a subscribe, a follow on Twitch. All of these stuff helps like you wouldn't believe. With that said, I hope you all have a good night, sweet kisses, and until tomorrow. Bye bye!